Hi everyone, it is 16th of July and we talked about EPR and DDRS. My day started with yoga and with morning walk. Lovely weather it was, and I enjoyed the yoga in the open area, and after that I had some walk, and then we reached to our session. These are the few of our session mates. Came from Hyderabad and Manipur, Sikkim, different states all over the India. And today we had quiz competition also. Tribhuvan Singh wished CSC teacher taught us about EPR. EPR means Extended Producer Responsibility, has emerged as a globally recognized policy principle. This legislation requires producers to take responsibility for their packaging, including its collection and recycling. EPR system not only promotes recycling but also has potential to drive design changes and transition to reuse and reduce of plastic. EPR has been defined as a policy principle that hold producers accountable for their entire recycling life cycle of their products, particularly for the take back, recycling, and final deposit. This is what Tribhuvan sir explained us. And he explained about the solid waste management of different cities too. Packaging cost, of waste management cost, and other topics he has covered in this session.
PIPO will disclose to the ministry the amount of plastic packaging that it has put out on the Indian market in the last 2 years. And this is a continuous cycle. So after initially after I share the information for the last 2 years, then I have to share annually. And then on the basis of the information that the polluters are sharing, the MOEF and CPCB will issue recycling targets, reuse targets, recycled content targets, right? And it is for them to then start complying on the basis of these targets. What the targets are, we will look at in the next slide. Similarly, for the plastic processors, they also have to register, right? And post registering, the credits can be or certificates can be issued by the competent authority to these guys, and then after that is done, basically there is trade of certificates. Trade of certificates between plastic waste processors and POs. So certificates can only be sold by PWMs or plastic waste processors. They can be recyclers who can give out recycling certificates, and they can be waste to energy plants or cement processing plants who can give out disposal certificates. It's a case where ULPs could get a share of the pie. Right? So maybe in the first or second amendment, or it was not through an amendment but through a circular, that they said that ULBs can participate in this entire process through two different routes. Right? The first route is a ULB can identify a piece of land, right? They can call a vendor who has the expertise to run a recycling plant and then generate certificates. They have to go through all the process. Just because it is something where the ULB is involved, it is not that they are exempted from the processes. So they have to get a consent to establish, they have to get a consent to operate, they have to comply to Air Act, Water Act, all of that. And they can identify a piece of land. This is mechanism one, first possibility. They can identify a piece of land, invite a vendor, ask them to operate on their behalf, and whatever certificates they are generating, they can share either with the vendor or, depending on whatever is agreed between the two. The second possibility is the ULB identifies a piece of land and sets up its own recycling facility. In this case, again, they have to get CTE, CTO, Air Act, Water Act, everything has to be done. But the certificates can be generated by the local body itself. And it can also directly be traded with the PO, just like PWMs are doing. But in this case, the ULB itself is a PW. Okay? So this is how this entire thing basically works. So certificates can be generated by these guys or any ULBs who are acting as PWDs, and the certificates flow to the POs, and in return for the certificates there is payment for every certificate, right? One credit is equal to 1 ton, 1000 kilograms of plastic. If you are recycling, you can generate 1 credit. Okay? So this is pretty simple, pretty easy. Now, let's say if a polluter is not able to comply with the targets that they've been assigned, in that case, they will have to pay an environmental compensation to the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. And the guidelines for this have been very clearly stated, will be further discussed in Q1 session. Any doubts so far? The plastic packaging, close to 6 million metric tons. This is the breakup. And then we had 83% importers. Halaki, their contribution in terms of what they are putting out is lower than the other two, but it's not small, it's 2 million metric tons. Now connect this to your point of how SEZs operate. They import crude oil, 0% tax. They export finished products, 0% tax. Right? So they are happy. Now the same product, I'm not saying that it is the same product, but there is a very high likelihood that something that is made in India went outside and then it is imported by other people and put as our burden, as your burden. Both financial, operational, and every other thing. This is the breakup. Now tell me, do you see? Look at these boxes, and do you see a pattern here? Look at these boxes. Is there a pattern that is emerging?
Category 4.
Category 2 is highest across all the segments, and definitely the producers are putting out a lot of flexible plastic packaging. Now let me tell you a story. While I was growing up, my mother used to store a lot of things like oil jars, cans, even the दूध का थैली that used to come, she used to wash it and then paste it on the sink, and then वो सूख जाता था तो उसको fold करके रख लिया जाता था. ये पूरा she used to do this the entire month, and at the end of the month she used to call a kabadi wala who used to happily take away most or almost all of it, and he used to pay something, right? So
this is all about our session. Hope you enjoyed. Then we had evening tea and chart party in the evening. Weather was lovely and we all enjoyed the tikki party. Tikki, golgappas and lovely chart party.
फोटो तो आना चाहिए हाँ अच्छा लग रहा है ना
Few of our friends were playing badminton too.
मेरे को खट्टा मीठा दोनों
I enjoyed first tikki and then golgappa.
खट्टा मीठा दोनों खट्टा मीठा दो ना
Then I too played badminton as it is my favorite game. I wore sari but played with sari. My love for my passion for both sari and badminton. Then in the evening, there was another training. People were there from Punjab. They sang songs on karaoke. And we enjoyed their songs. It is lovely campus decorated with lights all over around. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.